So our next panel is all about funding and finance opportunities. And it is my great pleasure, because not only am I going to introduce him as the moderator, but as a very dear friend, Kevin Goldstein with American National Bank and Trust will be our moderator for this panel. So please welcome Kevin.
Good morning, good afternoon, almost good afternoon. Everybody having a good time so far? Learning some things? I think this will be pretty interesting. This is at my heart. As Gwen said, I'm Kevin Goldstein. I am with a local bank here in town, American National Bank and Trust, and there's nothing more fun to talk about in small business and small business lending and how we help those individuals who really create the jobs in the world, and definitely in Texas and Wichita Falls make it. So we have a wonderful panel of folks from different folks that will be here to kind of guide everyone here with some ideas and things you may not know. First, we have Taz Lozano. Taz, where you are. Taz is with People Fund. They call her the Tasmanian Devil, is what they said earlier. I don't know if that's true or not, but we'll have her. Thank you. Isaac Elizondo is here with us with Lift Fund. Isaac is maybe not be on your program. There's a flu epidemic going on already, and I know that I think Kim had called and that said that she was not going to be able to be here, and that was probably about the fifth person that day that said that they had the flu already. So, welcome.
Thank you.
We have Linda Williams with the U.S. Small Business Administration. Linda? This is the muscle behind all small business, so she may not look very big, but very powerful. And then finally, we have Bronson Gentry with Wells Fargo. Bronson will be talking to us a lot about small business lending as well. Several of these presentations will be slide related, presentation related. We'll ask some questions, I think, in the same format of what y'all have seen so far. And then again, during each speaker's time, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, please do so. Of course, y'all seen the booths out here. There's a lot of great information, a lot of great websites too, and they'll be able to help you as well. So first on the list, which I'd like to probably go ahead and maybe understand and maybe switch it up a little bit from what we've talked about, is to ask Linda Williams to come up with the U.S. Small Business Administration. They're not a lender. Linda's not a lender, but she has some unique things on 7A and the 504 programs and how she helps what we refer to in this world micro lenders. So, Linda?
Thank you. I think I'll have to make an adjustment here. Okay, I got that. Can everybody see me? I can see over the podium, so it's a good day. So, yes, my name is Linda Williams. I'm an economic development specialist with the U.S. Small Business Administration. We are actually a very small agency, but most people have heard of us. We have 2,000 employees nationwide, and the way that we have such a large footprint is that we are highly leveraged. And actually on these slides, let's just keep it on the logo. I've got about 40 minutes worth of slides, and I got about 10 minutes to tell you about it. So I'm just going to speak off the cuff and just keep our new logo up there. We're very proud of it, by the way. Isn't it nice, red, white, and blue? Yay, logo. We had the last one since 1959, and Linda McMahon is our new administrator. You may know her from WWE. She knows all about branding, and that was one of the first things that she said. She says, we'll fix that. So that's our brand new logo. We're very proud of it. But the way that we are leveraged is that we provide counseling, we provide lending, and then we help with government contracting so small businesses can get a piece of that pie. We do a lot of education in that area. In the counseling side, we have counseling partners. Small Business Development Center is in this area. We also have SCORE. You can access counseling at score.org by the internet, online. So those are our primary counseling arms. We do have a women's business center that's just opening up in Dallas, and Lift Fund is going to be operating that for us. But then we have lending. Everybody's heard of the lending. Now it's a guarantee loan program primarily, it done by what we call our commercial brick and mortar lenders, and most lenders are an SBA lender. Not all of them are as active as some of the others. I will say that all of these on the panel today are very active SBA lenders. But the 7A loan program is our flagship program. You do have to be a for-profit business, and you have to be, as we call, small, but we have an alternative size standard of $5 million in gross sales. And I'm thinking maybe a lot of you are under that, so you would be small. And it basically lends money for just about any business need. So that's how that works. We provide a guarantee. It's like an insurance policy up to a certain amount of that loan, and should the loan go into default, we step in and we make that lender whole up to that amount, maybe 75% up to 90%, depending on which type of loan it is. But I can tell you, it's always a loan that the lender wanted to make. They think that the borrower can and will repay it, but there's something that doesn't meet the normal credit policy, and it's usually a collateral shortfall. Or maybe it's a startup. And with that guarantee, the lender feels more confident in making it. But just because they're an SBA lender does not mean that they have to make an SBA loan. If you can ever, as a small business owner, get a loan without it being an SBA guaranteed loan, then go for it. The goal is to get that funding. SBA loan is a little higher risk loan than the rest of the loans because it's one that the bank wouldn't have made otherwise. But because of that guarantee, they feel more comfortable with that. Then we have another loan program. It's the microloan program, and with SBA, the limit is $50,000. A lot of small businesses, that's what they need, especially in startup. But a traditional brick and mortar bank, that's a very small loan. They have to do just as much work or more on that loan as they do for a $5 million loan. And there may be more risk involved in that startup. So we have nonprofit lenders. Two of them are on this panel. They're both excellent. And they'll step in with a very much smaller loan, and they provide counseling with that. So we're real happy, both People Fund and Lift Fund. We have another SBA lender in that arena that does not offer SBA microloans, but they're in our Community Advantage loan, which is like the 7A. It goes up to $250,000 with this lender, but it's Aesion. Are you in the room, Aesion? There she is. Stand up so they can see you. Okay. So they're available too, but they have all of them have different loan programs than just the SBA loan programs. They have other funding sources. And then we have an excellent program called the 504 loan program, and it's a combination of a traditional bank making their regular loan for 50% of a project, and then 40% is done through one of the SBA certified development corporations, and that's for 40%, and then the other, as low as 10%, can be the owner's injection in that project. And it's for fixed assets, usually that's real estate or very large equipment, and those go up to, just for that 40% of the project, it can go up to the $5.5 million, depending on the purpose of that. But I do know that in the room is a 504 lender. I have James Stokes with Alliance Lending Corporation, and he's here. That's just a huge It's a huge advantage to use that program. The SBA portion is fixed. What's the fixed running on the latest debenture? 5.2. Does that sound about right? That sounds like a good loan to me. And then it's combined with the other bank loan, and he works with other traditional lenders, and you can start with the CDC or you can start with your regular bank or whatever. But that is just an excellent program, and maybe we can get some more workshops in the area for that. But I want to share this, that our administrator a couple of years ago noticed we looked at the stats, and 70% of small business owners never, ever got in front of a commercial lender to talk about their need. And guess what? The number one reason for early business failure is under capitalization. In other words, a business owner has enough money to open their doors, but they don't have enough money to keep the doors open. And they try to bootstrap it, they try to do it all with their own funds, and in the end, when they're chasing dollars and they don't have time to chase customers anymore, they find they can't make it, and when they go out to get lending, it's very hard at that point. So we set up a lender match program at SBA.gov. You can go on that, you can fill out some information about your need, and if one of our lenders that participates in that program, including all the types of lenders we have, then you'll get an email back asking for some more information. And what it is, it's a dating service for lenders to meet a lender. And the idea of when they come back and ask for some more information, they're trying to decide if they're going to have a date with you, if they're going to sit down and talk about a loan. I encourage you to get counseling before you go that far, though. When you're in front of a lender, you need to talk in the lender's language and understand what they need. It's not time to ask the lender. You know, it's not like consumer lending at all. It's not shopping for a rate. Just remember, you're high risk. Your rate may be a little higher than maybe you were expecting, but we do have limits with our SBA lenders on what they can charge based on prime. But at any rate, our objective is to get you counseling before you get in front of a lender if you're not really bankable just yet. Our micro loan program includes counseling with your loan, and it's a real good place to start to build your commercial credit. It's so important that you are financed appropriately early on. I can't say that enough. You have, I just told you 70% of small business owners never get in front of a lender. Guess what? Today I'm looking at a whole panel of them, plus I pointed out 2 in the audience, and if I were you, I'd get in a conversation with a few of them, 1 or 2 or all or whatever, in just a kind of a conversational dialogue. And then I want you to get online at SBA.gov, get the template for our business plan if you haven't done that already, set an appointment with the Small Business Development Center, and before you meet with that lender and ask for an appointment, you want to be ready with your package, with the financials and your business plan and all of that. So that's all I'm going to say. I think I did my 10 minutes worth, did I? Is that 10 minutes? Okay, I'm done with the 10 minutes, and now I'll turn it back over to your Master of Ceremonies to introduce the next lender.
Well, thank you. You know, one thing I think it's important that you said there was counseling, and I'm sure all of you will mention that, and we'll talk about that. As we see folks coming through our offices, it is about a business plan. It is about really knowing your business and what your needs are. I hope that all of us will understand that that's a key element to getting our folks to the next line, is understanding your business and your needs and that education side of it. So thank you, Linda. Appreciate it. Next, we have Taz Lozano with People Fund. She is going to talk about several different items. I believe she has a presentation for us as well. They work, I've asked her maybe to talk a little bit of there's some women programs, some veteran programs, and their website is very educational based, and it's a very, very unique website, and I found a lot of great information on there. So let's welcome Taz, the Tasmanian Devil. Yeah.
Thank you. Can I move this a little bit? Okay. That's much easier because I want to make sure that I do see everyone. And I know you guys are kind of light, but I want to acknowledge this side. So before I start, I just want to thank 2 women, and I want to make sure I honor them. But if you have enjoyed today's event, that is all thanks to Vanessa and Shelby. So if we can just give them a round of applause, whether they are in this room or not. They have really worked hard to make sure they have an amazing program all throughout the state. So just thanks to them, and also thanks to Kevin over here. I was like, you went from here to there. I want to honor him for just putting this stuff together and then kind of just getting us set up for today. So thank you for that. So I am going to try not to kill you via PowerPoint today, but I want to tell you a little bit about People Fund. So if we can go to the next slide. So just quickly, we are a 501c3 microlender, so we're a nonprofit microlender here in the state of Texas. We have a few things that are really important to us. We are a character-based lender, so a lot of what you do with People Fund is going to be very relational. So a lot of you guys who have already met me today, I hope you've gotten a taste of that. But our mission at People Fund is to create economic opportunity, financial stability for underserved groups of people, and provide them with access to capital and education, as well as resources to make sure that they're well-rounded business owners. So something that is really important for us is not just getting money into your hands, but how do we make sure we get you the education you need? Last year, I will boast on us, we provided 17,000 hours of technical assistance. So we're making sure that not just because we're required through our microloan programs, but that we're really spending time in front of our clients or even potential clients, getting them ready for funding. Right? So our vision, you will see we are only based in the state of Texas. So for us, it's important that we not be just the biggest at what we do, but we be the best at what we do. So for us, if that's being here in the state of Texas, we want to be the best at doing it, right? But that's not without our amazing partnerships. So I will also boast on Lift Fund and Accion and all of our bank partners. So we are unable to do that without their support. So we have 3 core values, which is integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. So you will learn in a little bit that our CEO, Gary Lindner, is a retired Air Forceman. So you will see a lot of those same values from the military kind of carried into our organization. Next slide, please. So I already let you guys know we are a certified 501c3 microlender. We also have the title of Community Development Financial Institution. That lets you know that the work we do, we are focused and dedicated to making sure we develop communities and focus on underserved groups of people. So for us, that is minority groups, women-owned business, veteran-owned business, people in low to moderate income areas, and then recently with me, we focus on rural communities as well. Right? So we have different loan programs, which we already heard a little bit about. So with People Fund, we have our Flash Funds program, which is for something quick under $25,000. We have lines of credit specifically for our nonprofits. But our bread and butter is really going to be that SBA 7A Community Advantage. So for us, we do funding anywhere from $1,000 to $350,000. And then, of course, our Community Advantage is up to $250,000. We also have the 504 certification, so we can do up to $5 million, a little bit of what Linda explained earlier as well. All right, next slide. So this right here is just a breakdown of how we use our money. So you do see we've got 54% of our funds go to startup businesses. So we are not scared of that. So if you are a startup, anything under 2 years old, please come our way. I'd love to have a conversation with you. I know sometimes it's a little bit hard to get funding or to get a traditional bank to take on some risk, but we do have some dollars we want to make sure we get into your hands. And then also we have a big focus on, of course, veteran lending as well as women lending. So 53% of our funding goes to women-owned businesses, right? And then you can see kind of the breakdown of ethnicity groups and then different MSA groups throughout Texas. Next slide. All right, so we are based in the state of Texas. We're about to start expanding into Oklahoma for veterans. So we have offices all over the state. We have one in Dallas, Fort Worth. Our headquarters are in Austin. Office in San Antonio, Houston, Laredo, the Rio Grande Valley, El Paso, my hometown. And then we have some potential locations that we're really looking at, and I oversee everything that is not a green dot okay? So if you fall into anything that isn't a green dot, specifically on those blue dots, let's talk, right? And so I am one girl that is very, very busy, but I love it. I am Texas proud, so it's been nice to explore new areas. All right, next slide. So here I would say pull out your phones. Let's make this a little interactive, and let me have you guys take a picture of this screen, because I want there to be no excuse that if you have a question that you can't get a hold of me. So my contact information is on there. But you can also access my director of lending, my CEO. They would love to hear your stories, get to chat with you guys a little bit more. And of course, I am not about reinventing the wheel. So if there's already something great happening in your area and you want me to know about it, let's talk, right? I think that it is it on the presentation side, but I do want to highlight a few things that Kevin had mentioned, which is our veteran lending as well as our women lending. So thankfully, because we are in the state of Texas, we get to have really great partnerships. And so I know Christina Mortel is here. She is with the Texas Veterans Commission. And through great partnerships like that and with other veterans programs, we're able to guarantee a 5% interest rate for all of our veterans. So no matter how much money you're asking for, no matter what that credit history looks like, we're going to honor a 5%. And that's just a way of us being able to give back to you everything that you've done for us. The other thing is we have a great partnership with the Tory Burch Foundation, as well as Bank of America, and for all of our women-owned businesses that are requesting under $100,000, you get a 2% buy down on your interest rate. So let's say you get 8%, right? We can buy down that interest rate under a $100,000 loan by 2%, and that's through our great partnerships. So that's a little bit about us and a little bit of a focus for our veterans and for our women. But I hope to get some questions from you guys and be able to chat with you a little bit more. Thank you. That's it.
Do we have any questions for Taz? Other than, yes, that's yellow shoe polish on her toes. No, very, very nice. And as I said before, we'll have a time for us to ask questions, but very good website and has a lot of great information on there. So compliment you on that as well. Next, we have Isaac Elizondo with Lift Fund, something similar to People Fund, but a little bit bigger, a little bit more state-driven. He'll talk a little bit about what Lift Fund does as well. I've also asked Isaac to maybe talk a little bit about some of the things, it's not necessarily in his region, but of what his company, and I think it's important for all of us to know of how they've helped those that were in our Houston area in disaster fund, because everyone up here has done that as one point in time. It helps those in disaster. So another perspective on what that would look like. There you go. There you go, Isaac.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, and I'm sorry, I don't have any slides. Again, I got a phone call at 10:30 at night saying, hey, boss, I'm sick, can't make it. So all my other lenders were not available, and there was nobody in our Fort Worth office. So I rushed over here, and I have no banner, I have no tablecloth, and no slides. So as you can tell, I don't do this every day. So, but anyway, needless to say, thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate that. I think this is really important what we do here. You know, us being available to you. So I do want to tell you a little bit about Lift Fund, a little bit our humble beginnings when we first started back in 1994. Interesting, our CEO, Jenny Barrera, she was a missionary nun in Latin America, and she went off to different villages to help villagers there with their products. So some of them were making baskets, some making purses, and she helped them take it to market. As she sold, they sold their products. That money would be loaned to the next villager, and that villager would make his products, and so forth. It would go down the line. This concept here of micro-lending as it started. She came back to the United States, She was here in her circles, fast forward a little. And there was a philanthropist, Levi Strauss, with Levi Jeans. Had very good conversations. They were always talking. And she was thinking about going back into Latin America. And he said, why do that? There's a need here. There are people here that need that. Do your concept that you have here with, I say, these villagers, as I guess it was quoted, and with $150,000, a donation from him, and then J.P. Morgan Chase gave another $150,000, and with that $300,000, they started Lift Fund. And the first loan that we did, so you can have an understanding of what types of loans and collateral and things that we do. So anyway, the first loan was the collateral that we use were 5 goats. And again, as all collateral, we do checkups. We go back, and there's a goat missing. There's only 4 now. And I was like, well, hey, what happened to the other goat? Well, we had a party, and we needed food, and we ate the goat. So anyway, we've done some restructuring there, and a little more stricter requirements on livestock. But needless to say, last week actually I was looking at 50 cattle for livestock, so and other equipment. So just to give you an idea of what types of loans, at what level. There really is no limit. There's no certain put you in a box. We work with you, especially with the startups and small businesses. That's our mission. That's what we're here for. We're here for you. We're here to help you grow. We're here to help you with your dreams. I guess our smallest loan would be maybe $500. We can go up to $250,000, $500,000, let's say, with real estate collateral. With the help with a bank, SBA, we've known to go a little higher than that. Actually, $5.5 million would be our cap. But there is no loan that's too small. If your situation is unique, please, we want to talk to you. We work with people who have had Chapter 7, Chapter 11. We've had people with whatever debt, anything that you can think of, and we're working with them. It's a mission that we believe in, that small business is the driving force. It's just what drives our economies, right? And I believe that. It's not those big conglomerate corporations, and it's the small business owner. In my meeting the other week, we were just talking about loans. We do have a certain amount of loans that we have to do per month and things like that. But our big conversation really is, how many jobs are we creating? If we give this loan out, what are we creating in the economy right now? What are we driving here for this particular community? What impact are we going to do? So we talk about how many jobs we can preserve and how many jobs we can create. So those are the types of meetings we have. And again, it's a mission that all of us here at Lift Fund, that we truly believe that this is a cause to help the small business owner. As they pointed out, again, we've done a lot. Again, it's not my region. Houston currently obviously went through a horrible devastation, and it was really bad. And so through grants and other donations, actually, we were able to loan out a substantial amount of money for each business owner, $25,000, 0% interest. And again, millions were actually given out. And so this is something that we wanted to give back into the community. We have great partners, again, as I say, that banks, Wells Fargo here, for instance, again, we have a $350,000 grant from them for veterans. It's a 5% buy down. Walmart, again, $2 million given out. We have certain parameters. Obviously, it's not free money. Understand that. We are a nonprofit. We're not giving away money. But as long as you have your business plan intact, you have some kind of sense that, hey, I have a roadmap, not just the dream, right? We can work with you. And we will work with you. And we do appreciate all our partners, again, with all the banks, community banks, large banks. I hear that a lot, by the way. Some people will say, banks aren't loaning money. And I do respectfully say that is an incorrect statement. Banks are loaning money through a certified development corporation such as us. And again, the money's there. Of course, we're a nonprofit. We're not advertising. So it's a matter of you walking into your local bank saying, which certified development corporation do you work with? And they can point you in the right direction. Or they should be pointing in the right direction. And great partners as well. Again, People Fund, Acción. Sometimes we can't do some deals. There are some files that we can't do. And we'll call them up. And we'll say, hey, do you have a program? Because it's about the small business customer. It's about them. It's not about us. And again, the banks being a great contributor to our mission. So really appreciate that. I believe I don't have anything else to say. If there's any questions, usually I don't know. So if I had my slides, maybe I would know. But no, I don't have anything else. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac. Really appreciate all of you on what has happened in South Texas and Houston and what y'all have done on that. And everyone stepped up to the table, corporations, banks and whatnot. But you guys have as well, so thank you so much. And on behalf of Lift Fund, I hope you enjoy the goat today that we're having for lunch, that you're having right now. Is it? No. I think everyone maybe has found some things they may not have known of when you talk about People Fund and Lift Fund, or may not have known about the Small Business Administration. I think everyone knows our next speaker, Bronson Gentry, when we talk about Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is one of the largest SBA lenders. And today Bronson's going to talk a little bit about the credit basics of what lenders look for, and from their point of view and their side, and then how banks work with each other, and as we just discussed, in order for us to hopefully have the end result is to have that small business be successful, create jobs, and help that local economy. So let's welcome Bronson.
Good afternoon. So I'm not sure if you all know me yet, but you probably do know Wells Fargo. But again, my name is Bronson Gentry, Business Development Officer. It's really my role to build relationships with you, to come out to your business, to find out about you, to find out what's working and what's not. Just as some hands, how many new startup businesses are in the room? A few of you? How many have been around for a couple years? All right, so good mix. Any long term, over 10 years? Anybody? Yes. All right, so fairly new, so it's a good mix in here, and I work with all ranges. What I want to go over today is, again, just kind of what lenders look for, what banks look for financing, and some credit basics. So maybe some of it might be a high-level overview, but I do hope some of you have some takeaways on credit, managing credit, what helps, and what we at Wells Fargo and other lenders are looking for. Got it. There we go. On the tables in front of you, so one great resource that I want to share with you is Wells Fargo Works. It's a great resource for either if you're a client already, if you're not, it's free. There's videos, there's a business planning guide in there. There's even a marketing resource, so if you want to see who your competitors are within your industry, within your location, you can pull that up. It'll tell you the specific business, who they are, where they are. I think it's a great planning tool and it's free to use. So I highly recommend that, whether you're a startup, whether you're doing your research now or been in business for over 10 years. Again, what we're going to cover, and some of this I guess I should use the mic. Some of this we will kind of skip over because it might not apply, but I want to just at least, again, managing credit and what we're looking for, and then the credit life cycle. So I know I've only got 10 minutes, and she said 40 minutes worth of presentation, but only 10 minutes to speak, so I'll try to go through this fairly quick. First up is managing credit. So this is, again, how your business can rely on credit. So providing working capital, I think that's, especially for the startups out there, that can be one of the major issues, is having enough working capital on hand to survive. And I think first up, the most important thing, again, is business plan. Mentioned the business plan in the Wells Fargo Works. Having that business plan set up, not just for yourself and for what lenders are going to look for, but that's yours. That's a living, breathing document that you're going to go to from now until you end up selling your business. So the basics of it, again, relying on credit. I'm going to go over some of the options that we work with through Wells Fargo, but just the basics of credit and how we could take advantage of those opportunities. What I would recommend most is building a relationship with your bank, with your banker. So it is my job to, again, come out, find out what's best for your business. If there's a credit need or something that maybe at Wells Fargo we might not be able to, I'm the type, I want to have that relationship with you where if I can't do a particular deal now, I'm going to give you some guidance. I have a lot of other contacts that I might be able to help you out with CPAs, with attorneys, with other people that might be able to help you get that better basis and foundation. And bear with me, I'm not the best at public speaking, if you might not be able to tell, so just thank you. So taking care of your credit profile. So just the basics of it. Whenever a lender is looking at you, we're going to look at your personal credit as well as your business credit. So I think it's extremely important to keep track of that. There's so many credit resources out there, Credit Karma, many other different websites and resources to make sure to see where your credit is and to see how you can improve your own personal credit. As far as business credit, I'm sure you may know, Dun & Bradstreet does most of the credit for businesses, so that's going to keep track of making sure that your payments have been on time, to see how you've invoiced your business. Bank strategically, again, just as some of your startups, make sure that you've got your business relationships set up, you've got the bank accounts, consolidate accounts, I think it's always best practice not to have accounts in multiple places, and again, cultivate the relationship. Build that relationship with your banker, with your bank. Someone that you can go to, someone you can count on, someone that you can trust. And I would even recommend having multiple relationships. Whenever you're looking for credit, just as most anything, whenever you're shopping around for your business, you want to get the best deal. So if you can use banks sometimes to compete against each other, and if you have a strong relationship with that banker, they're going to fight for you. So if maybe you found a deal somewhere else, someone like me, I can fight for you to make sure you're going to get the best rate. Again, we touched on credit reporting. Get to know, get it from many sources. Again, best thing I could recommend, check your credit score, see where you're at, see what your outstanding debt is, and just building your overall credit history. 5 C's of credit, basics again, of what we're looking for as lenders. Your credit history, again, how are you paying your debts? How long have you had those debts? Collateral, so this is an important thing for commercial lending. What do you have to back it up? Your other additional real estate, stocks, cash that you can use. And capital, so your skin in the game. How much money are you looking to put in to start up your own business? I think it's been said a couple of times, it depends on the type of business and the risk. A good rule of thumb, 10 to 20% of your own cash, sometimes more depending on the type of lending, the type of loan that you're looking for. And the conditions, internal, external, so that could be any regulations within your industry. That could be competitors within your industry. Those are the things that we want to look at, and that would go along with your business plan too. And then finally, your capacity, looking at your your business plan. What is your projections? Do you have good cash flows? What's your capacity to repay the loan? And again, what we're looking for, want to have your credit success. This is again going to come down to your business plan, your cash projections of at least a year. Why are you needing that money? And when you speak to a banker, someone like me, we're going to make sure that the type of loan that you're looking for really matches your need. Maybe there's a different opportunity that you weren't quite sure that you needed. Maybe you're looking for a line of credit, but it turns out could be a term loan or a long-term loan. And that's something that we would go over with you. One important thing, I've spoken with a few of you out here, and one of the big things that come up is the application process. So it can be tedious at times. Someone like me can help you walk through it. But one of the most important things, one of the things that delays loans most oftentimes is not having correct information or accurate information. So it's something that has to keep, once we get it going, we've got that loan in process. If there's something missing, something inaccurate, we may have to start the whole thing over if something's missing. So just a couple of important things to keep track of. In looking at your cash flows, exciting stuff. So one thing we want to look at, how are you receiving your money? Is it by checks? Is there anything that we can do to speed things up? Looking at your costs and your outflows. So just see where's your money coming in, where's your money coming out? Are there any efficiencies that we can look at, anything that we could speed up or reduce any costs for you? And of course, cover your taxes, good savings account, set money aside so you'll have that whenever that comes up. And are you getting the best from every relationship? I'll bring that up a lot because I think having a great relationship with the bank is extremely important, especially in times of mobile apps and everything is electronic. Having that face-to-face connection, having that face-to-face relationship with someone that knows who you are, knows who your business is, extremely important. And again, someone that can fight for you if you're needing credit. Someone that can tell that story for you. Credit life cycle. I'll kind of skip through some of this. This is just from start to finish. A lot of you are in the seed or startup, it sounds like. So just getting lending and how that works. We've had several micro lenders that discussed lending in different areas. That is one avenue. Startups can be a little difficult for a bank, so looking elsewhere is good. Unless you have, we're going to look at your credit, we're going to look at your cash injection. There are many things that we can look at to help small businesses, especially through SBA. Many different programs that we'll look at to help you out there. And again, growth, different types of loans that we help with, equipment, vehicle, real estate. There's line of credit if you already have your building, and also SBA loans. So there's many different types of lending options out there. And then lastly, I'll just go over this real quick, just the different types of loans, again, that are out there. Secured or unsecured, depending on your credit level, depending on the amount of cash you're putting in. Or is anything going to back it up by real estate, by securities, or sometimes personal assets? Factoring is another option too. So if you have good accounts receivables, if you already have that injection, we can look at loan options on accounts receivables, also called factoring. Unsecured, again, that's just going to be strictly based off of your credit, how much cash you have in the business, how long you've been in the business, so there's not going to be any collateral back on there. With that, just open it up real quick. If there's any questions on types of lending out there, types of things that we at Wells Fargo can help out with. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Bronson. How's the goat? It's good. Very good. I think do we have some more time? A little bit? Okay. I think hopefully what you'll take away today is the going into a bank or borrowing money in general is not a scary thing, and most people think I'm afraid to get a no. And developing that relation, I think, is what Gordon had pointed on, that there are so many ways that the no turns into a yes. And I think we have that here today up on the stage. So to me, this was very enlightening for myself. I hope it was for everybody here. And as you can see, that there's a lot of ways to borrow money and to partner up with your bank that's partnering up with these agencies and making your dream come true. I would be remiss if I didn't ask if anyone had any questions for the panelists. Yes.
I guess just thinking back on how it went for us and the whole SBA process for applying for a loan. We were employees of a franchise before we decided to take a leap of faith and apply for our own. And we did. We ran into some major challenges. We had to sell our house that we bought after we got back from Afghanistan. And we used that equity from the home sale to put everything back into the business. And I think we went through 3 days, Scott and I. There was a situation where we went from a 2-income family and then the projected income was 0. So in order for us to actually get approved for our loan in the end, I had to use our GI Bill, open up a business, a new baby, a toddler, and have a full load of classes in order to qualify through SBA. So I mean, there are challenges. People are going to tell you no, but just perseverance and pushing forward.
Well, God bless you for what you've been through right there, and for your service as well. But that just ends up being a struggle, but success in the end. Very good. Anybody else want to comment on that?
Is this one? In other states, they can use your home for collateral, but in Texas, due to the Texas homestead law, but we never ask people to sell their homes, I'll just say that. But for you, it worked into that situation very well. She has a real good point about not being afraid of no. No means not that way. You just have to find a way. And I think you have a lot of solutions in this room that all of these folks are people that look for ways, how could it be done? If I can't do it, who could? And all of our lenders are team players, not just internally, but not just with SBA, but with each other. So that's a very good story. Now that I have the mic, I do want to add one thing, though. SBA does do direct lending in the case of disaster through the federal government, and we do appreciate the additional funding, and that went into some long-term recovery, too. We're really... we're the federal program that goes in with FEMA. We do individual, family, and also business loans. But it's really hard on businesses because it's hard to recover from the disaster. But the primary difficulty is that you're already struggling in a lot of cases to pay the bills you have. Would a loan help or not? And I do like to make a plug for business interruption insurance because I was a loan officer in our disaster loan program, and those are the businesses that immediately, by the time we were talking to them about a loan, they already had some income stream to cover their working capital. So think about that.
Great point. Anybody else?
Yeah, so I wanted to say something to that point. Again, definitely congratulate you on your grit. And I think this goes a lot with what Bronson presented, making sure that you know your stuff whenever you're going to go into having a conversation with someone. Because it might be a no, but really learning why. And whenever you do go around dating to see which is the best funding option for you, make sure you know your stuff, right? Because this isn't just like oh, hey, let me apply online and they'll give me a yes or no. We have so much flexibility as to how we lend and to who we lend. And so I want to say probably off the bat, we probably could have funded you. I know somewhere between Lift Fund or People Fund or Accion, maybe not a huge portion, but we probably could have worked with a smaller amount to get you into a larger amount. But I know that for me, whenever someone comes and they're like, hey, I know where I'm at. I know how much I could potentially get. That really helps out. And so yes, it might be a no initially, but really getting to know your information, knowing what institutions are looking for is really big when asking for money. So again, congratulations on your grit.
I like that. I'm going to tell my wife, honey, I got 4 dates tomorrow. 4 dates. It's not going to work for me, no. Any other questions or any? Yes.
Just on another note, when we started, there wasn't a whole lot of resources, or not that I knew of. So of course I reached out to the SBA. I did my business plan through them. But for people, seminars like this is where you're going to get all this information, because I didn't have that, and it was not easy to have to try and walk that path without really knowing where to go. So luckily the SBA has their business plan portal, and that helped me get the ball rolling, get started, and learn as I went.
Yeah, definitely like to thank the governor's office and everybody for putting this on today. This is a key element. Everyone stayed all day. You are going to learn a lot of things that I guarantee you didn't know that existed. And with that, I think we'll call this session over. And again, thank you for all our panelists for being here, and God bless you with your travels going home. Thank you.